Welcome into Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. Hey, Shaun.
Hey, Lindsay, what's up?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Glad to hear. Today's Monday, right?
It is. It is Monday. I
Okay.
had to think about it for a minute there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes,
we're here on a Monday,
we're here
and
on
I
a
hope
Monday.
everybody's having a great start to the week. Had a wonderful Easter weekend. I'm sure everybody did. I hope y'all did. Somebody that we're going to discuss today did not have the best Easter weekend, and that's Mr. Hector Custodi with the now viral, infamous story of the child predator caught sting operation, Lindsay, whatever you want to call it, that
Yeah.
occurred at. And I now we can say I used to not want to say the business's name. But I will say now, because it's out there everywhere, Fowler GMC, who, by the way, speaking to people at that business, wonderful business in the community. And I hope everybody goes out there and buys a bunch of cars from them. They are good people. And I feel like they've been wrongfully victimized in this too,
All right. So what Shaun is talking about is Friday afternoon. There was a live video circulating, and I saw someone share it. I clicked on it, and I had just gotten to Shaun's house, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you've got to come watch this." And he was in the middle of doing stuff, and he listened for a few minutes and went back to doing whatever he was doing, and he came back. He said, "Wait a minute, they're about to make him tell his boss." But he's like, "I gotta watch this. I gotta see this."
Yeah,
So he
it's
sat
pretty
down. Yeah.
rough.
So evidently, this man was thinking he was talking to a 15-year-old girl. He was not. He was confronted at his place of business, and the rest is viral history, I think.
Yeah, it's gone everywhere. And essentially, what Lindsay's there's a group named Preds versus Prey. And we're going to
Yes.
have the leader of that group, Bryce Sawyer, on here shortly. I think. I don't know, Lindsay, you have that
Yes, he's
scheduled?
calling in just a few minutes.
Okay, and we're going to discuss his operation, what this group does, y'all. And Clay talked about in his show earlier. It's been on social media. They are one of those. There's many groups out there that try to catch child predators. If you remember, if you're old like me and Lindsay, you remember Chris
Like
Hansen,
him.
like Chris Hansen back in the day. NBC used to do things like this. They do sting operations and whatnot. Those ones usually were in conjunction with law enforcement and that sort of situation. Here, there's Mr. Sawyer's group. I think Lindsay talked to him pretty extensively, and I think there's times they've used law enforcement. I don't know the facts here. I don't think they did. I'm going to ask him that. We'll get into all those things. But essentially, he went on a dating app and created a fake dating profile for a woman who initially, I think, Lindsay, you correct me if I'm wrong, was purported to be overage at that time when she
Well,
was.
yeah, okay. So initially, when you get on some of these dating apps, you have to be 18, right? So they have a fake profile, and they say that they're 18 or 21, somewhere in that age range. But then, as soon as they move from the dating app to Snapchat or texting, another source of or another way to communicate, they immediately within the first breath say, "Hey, I'm not 18, I'm 15."
Okay.
And then they see which ones continue to talk to the who they think is a 15-year-old, although not actually, because it's obviously them and not a 15-year-old. I think we've got Bryce calling in now. Hey, Bryce.
Hi, this is John from Elder Care Research Line. How are you?
Who?
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, y'all, we're not taking any calls except for Bryce is calling, and we're going to discuss the situation where, and again, briefly, so you understand, he set up a dating app profile. I think the woman initially reported to be overage. Then in conversations with the suspect, which turned out to be a Mr. Hector Custode, she had disclosed that she was 15. He proceeded to continue with the conversations. They got rather steamy, sexually steamy and all that stuff. And he tried to, I think Bryce can explain that, tried to meet up. And Bryce eventually, once that reached whatever level it was, and he can explain that, he operated a sting operation at Mr. Custody's place of work, which is Fowler GMC, which has caused a lot of controversy in the community about that. And
right. And so Shaun and I had some conflicting views about that. Go figure. I mean, who would ever think that we would
Well,
have...
I think we can operate under the first premise that we're glad that Mr. Custode has been exposed. I think
absolutely.
We agree there,
and I just, I applaud anyone that exposes a sexual predator. I mean, this, my oldest daughter's 15, so it hits close to home.
So I think, what Mr. Sawyer's doing in that context is a good thing for that portion of the actual chat portion of it. I think that I do think that's a good thing. I think getting as many sexual predators as we can off the street is a good thing. I think also, though, the issues that are out in the community are people are split about the methods of operation of it. and how that went down. And that's where, of course, I would differ with him. And I know you and I differ on it. So that's kind of the issue there. Not that he didn't do a good job setting this guy up in this chat with this fake profile, which, by the way, and I put this on Facebook yesterday, the law in Mississippi is, even if you're posing as a child, whether you're law enforcement or undercover operative, it's still the same penalty, still enticement of a child.
That was a question a lot of people had. If this wasn't actually a child, does it count as,
That's
with the law? But yes, Shaun looked it up, and yes, it does.
Yeah, and I've spoken to several people that I used to prosecute with that were a little more child experts than I am, and they explained that to me too, as well as the Attorney General's office unit that does this. They all they all understand how these things work pretty well. So it's not there to clear up the confusion. There wasn't a real girl ever at any time. This is something that Mr. Sawyer's group does, which is fine. They create profiles of fake women, and they talk to suspects, and they find out who's a child predator or not. This is common tactic. Law enforcement use it. Nothing illegal about it. You're allowed to do that. The law provides for it. Now, the law didn't used to provide for it. It changed around 2007 and allowed you to do that. So it's perfectly, that portion is fine. It doesn't matter if it's a real child or a fake child.
Exactly. And so, I mean, obviously I feel like we need groups like this to expose these people and catch these people, because there's so many of them out there. And I feel like parents have a right to know. Okay, I think that we have him calling.
Okay.
In. Hey, Bryce.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks for calling. We're so thankful that you had took the time out of your day to
thanks,
call
Bryce.
and talk with us.
Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So Shaun and I went live about this last night, and we kind of broke a lot of it down. You can go back and watch that if you would like to. And Bryce and I talked over the weekend, but I know, Shaun, you had some questions.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce, I just wanted the audience. I think you were on earlier with Clay and described. Let's just start from the beginning. You correct me if I'm wrong. You have a group that creates these profiles to catch these child predators. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that what you did in this context? You created a fake child to catch a predator, right?
Yep.
Okay, can you tell the audience the circumstances behind that?
What do you mean by that?
Like, how did you first come in contact with Mr. Custode? How did that occur?
Okay, I caught him like every other one we catch. We make our fake dating profiles and fake social medias, and we put an underage looking girl on there, and which I know all the girls that I use. And we basically just wait for messages to come in, and the messages come in, we take them to like a Snapchat or a text app, and we do it like that. We tell them our fake age, which is either 14 or 15 years old, and they either block us or they...
Which is what someone should do. You would think a decent human being.
Most of them block immediately. It's like 85% block. So
what age did you use here? So we're clear. Was it 15 or 14?
Yeah, 15. Just turned 15 in February.
So just to be clear, initially Mr. Custode didn't know the fake profile was 15, or he did know that?
So on a fake dating app, you can't put like 15 years old because they'll ban you.
Okay.
And you can't tell them your age on the dating app, because if you do that, whatever dating app it is will pick it up and it will ban you from the app, IP ban you.
Okay.
So you just basically have to make 2 or 3 sentences of small talk and ask, do you have Snapchat or do you have a number? Because I don't really get on here much. And then we take it to a Snapchat or a text app, and we tell them right then, hey, I'm not really 52.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah, so we use like a...
What age did you use? What age did you use to lure him? And no, initially on that dating app. What age was it? I think
he was like 38, 40 or something like that. It wasn't 28.
Was it pictures of a 38 or 40-year-old woman?
No.
Okay.
You could obviously tell it was a minor.
I just wanted to clear that up. So initially he thought he was talking to a 38-year-old woman that obviously looked younger than 38.
Most everybody who even messages the decoy, automatically their first message is, you are not 40.
I got you. I got you.
So you can, if you're not just, all the way there, you'll know that's not a 50-year-old.
Okay. It's obviously somebody that's very young.
Much younger.
Is what you're saying.
That's why
Okay,
you
sure.
use like a super high age, so it's super obvious that, oh, you're not 55.
Mhm.
What okay, once you did that, then you transferred somebody to Snapchat, text messaging, or whatever. So I assume you transferred him to those things, correct?
Yes. So we went to Snapchat and we told them, hey, look, we're really not 37. Like, I'm not really 37. I just can't use that age. I can't use my real age on there. And he was like, I forgot what he said. I have all the messages.
Mhm.
He was
I think maybe at first he
that's
said we
kinda-
can be friends or something like that, and then
Yeah,
as
so
you
he's
kept talking.
like, I guess as long as it's casual, blah, blah, blah. So he went with it. Most people blocked, but he never blocked. And
then
he kept getting more and more and more and more and more.
And at this point, I'm guessing you're trying to like meet what the statutory guidelines are for enticement. I'm guessing that's what you do. Is that right?
No, I just have a casual conversation and let them steer it however they want to steer it.
Do you try to get them to ask you for a meetup, or like how does that work?
I don't get them to do that. I like I said, I steer it in the exact direction they want to steer it. I don't say anything. I don't say anything out the ordinary to make him want to. I'll wait 4 months if I have to get him to act on it.
Did
So
he
once
ever?
they-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Once they do that, once they have gone past that mark where they've made it really inappropriate, they've made sexual comments and wanted to meet up. What do you ever take that information to the authorities or to the police, or do you wait until after you kind of?
No, okay. So 90% of the time, I do take it to the authorities at first. But at the end of the day, like I said before, evidence is evidence. You can't turn away evidence because I go do a video. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't know if y'all have ever looked at the law, but the law says it has to be 15 years age of younger, or someone that believes that they are 15 years.
Right.
And that's the law. That's why I love the law and how it's written, because it does not matter about a video. Even if everybody in the world wants me to go to the police first, it does not matter.
Yeah, let me just back up for a moment. So did he ever ask you to meet up? I know you're saying you didn't ask him
eight different times.
Okay, he does what I'm asking you.
8
Clarify.
different
So he asked to meet up. When did that occur? Like
That
how long in
occurred probably like 3 or 4 days after we started talking.
Okay. So that happened 3 or 4 days. He wanted to meet up, which if you look at the statute would fit the statutory meaning of enticement, right?
I guess technically, but there wasn't enough there yet to even think about that.
Well,
like,
I mean, did he ask you to meet up? You said he asked you to meet up, right?
Yeah, he's like, but he would say it in a weird way, like, what you doing Sunday? So maybe, like, you could skip class, and like, he at first he would make it where he wouldn't actually say it, but he would
allude to it.
You know what he was talking about, if that makes sense.
Okay. Did he ever become more explicit about a date and time and a place?
Not a place. He would like go travel for work, and he would be like, hey, so are you near Slidell, Louisiana? And I'd be like, I mean, that's kind of a little far. And he would be like, well, maybe I was going to see if it was closed so we can hang out or something. Yeah, so he did, technically. Yeah, he did.
I mean, it's called but there was never like a date and time and place for y'all to meet up, the fake person.
Yeah, it was always Sunday, and I would always say, or if my decoy was texting him at the time, we would always say, I'll see what I'm doing this weekend, because
put him off.
Me personally, I quit doing the meetups because that's kind of sketchy. They could feel some type of way and bring a gun, so I stopped doing meetups completely. So that's why I only do houses and jobs.
Okay.
So he had never seen you before. He had never spoken to you before. You caught him completely off guard, right?
Yeah, super random. He thought I bet at first he thought I was there to talk to him about financing. Like, really?
Well, we got up against our first commercial break. Bryce, can you stay with us? And I would love to get into more of what happened once you walked in to confront him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
we will be right back here on WIAB, Crossing the Aisle 103.9.
YAB. Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty. Call us today for your free quote, 601-939-7420, or online at mypureairconsultants.com.
Are you looking to get stronger, fitter, and push your limits? CrossFit Fondren is where Jackson trains. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, our expert coaches and supportive community will help you crush your goals. Join us for high-intensity workouts that build strength, endurance, and confidence. No gimmicks, just real results. Try your first class today for free. Visit us at CrossFitFondren.com or stop by the gym, 3002 North Mill Street in Jackson, in the heart of Fondren.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Why don't you mind your own business?
Mind my own business? What's that supposed to mean?
No, I was just thinking about all of the news of tax changes, insurance changes, regulations that are being passed down to business owners. I don't have the time to keep growing and to keep up with changing payroll regulations.
I know. It seems like all I do is handle employee-related problems.
You know, I hear People Lease can help.
How can they help?
People Lease can handle our payroll, taxes, employee benefits, and workers' compensation. They even offer an affordable and customizable 401k program and a 24/7 online human resources support center for all my HR needs.
Think of all the time we'll save letting People Lease handle our payroll and benefits administration. I'll be busy growing my business and letting People Lease take care of the rest.
Sounds like a good business plan with People Lease.
Let People Lease mind your business so you can mind your own business. Call now, 601-987-3025. That's 601-987-3025. Or visit freepayrollquotes.com for your free quote.
Get the jump on the season at the #1 stop for all your boating and custom water sports needs, Smith Marine. Crest pontoons are here. Come experience luxury and style with a 90-day, no payment, no interest financing option with approved credit, plus a 1-year Seato membership, free cover, free Bimini top, and free inflatable tube. And these crests are pre-rigged with Suzuki motors and Suzuki's industry best warranty. Smith Marine also buys quality pre-owned boats with consignments and trade-ins on the res in Ridgeland and at smithmarinesales.com.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty. Call us today for your free quote, 601-939-7420, or online at mypureairconsultants.com.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrillo Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrillo is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrillo's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrillo and taste the traditions. El Patrillo, where family, flavor, and fun come together.
Come together right now.
Welcome back into Crossing the Aisle, where we are joined by Bryce from Pred versus Prey, who had quite a busy afternoon this past Friday as he exposed a predator. Bryce, you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right, Bryce. Just so I'm clarified to backtrack a little bit. So after 4 days of talking to Hector, he kind of indicating that he wanted to meet up, like on his suggestions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something
What?
like that.
But you kept going on with him for about a month. Is that right? Is that what I heard before?
Mhm.
Or- okay. And then it just went back and forth about whether there was, he didn't really say date, time, and place. He just would say Sunday. That's correct? That's what you said?
Well, I mean, he mentioned Louisiana, so he did say a place eventually.
Okay. So, when did you make the decision to approach him at work at the dealership?
Made the decision about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I have a busy life, so I have to go get him whenever I have a little bit of free time, if that makes sense.
Because you have another full-time job as well.
I gotta.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, we're all busy. So you made the decision, 2 weeks ago, you knew you were going to do this, is what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At that time, did you contact any law enforcement authorities or anything at all?
I didn't.
You did not. Can you tell us why you didn't do that, or is there a specific reason?
I mean, there wasn't enough. Like, if I would have, I can take like a lot of evidence to the police, like a super good amount, and sometimes they even turn me away. I didn't think I had, and at that time, I didn't think I had enough at all for them to even look at it.
Okay, so you thought you needed more evidence.
Finally, sir, go ahead.
You needed more evidence. Is that what you're saying? You need more evidence?
Yeah, because
how did you know you needed more evidence? Because you said you didn't read the statute, so I'm just curious how you knew you thought you needed more evidence.
Well, the more charges, the better.
Well, but what were the charges you were looking for? Because that's why I was asking about the statute. You didn't read that.
That would be internet stalking of a child. That's one I wanted.
Okay, that's one you wanted. Did you want enticement?
If he was going to send nudes, that would have been whatever felony that is.
Child pornography.
It's 97.533 actually.
Yeah, I was trying to get him wrapped around like a lot of charges so it would stick. If that makes sense.
Did you read those?
If they were to do something, I would want them to have a solid case.
Did you read those specific statutes? Because you said you hadn't. That's why I'm asking. Did you ever read what they were?
Yeah, I just gotta look back at it. I don't know them from the top of my head, but there's 3 felonies that
you had looked at. So now you're saying you had looked at them. Am I understanding correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I look back at it, because I had to look at Mississippi statutes, and they're the same as Arkansas and the same as other states that I've done.
Okay, they're done same as others. So you've looked at other state statute, but you sort of recall looking at Mississippi statute. Is that right?
No, I recall looking at them. I looked them up before I came. I just can't tell you what they are from the top of my head unless I go on my phone right now and Google them. But I'm sure you don't have time for that.
No, I don't. And then let me ask the next question. So can you tell the audience, what's the extent of your law enforcement background?
I have 0 law enforcement background.
Okay. So have you ever gone through any certification classes about chatting or anything like that?
I want to be a police officer one day in my life. I'll never be a police officer. I don't want to be a police officer.
But this is a mission for you, which I commend you for that, and I'm sure, and that you're doing a noble thing. So would you want to get training to get better at it, or?
Yeah, yes, sir, I would. But I've had a lot of trauma and stuff in my life that I think I can handle. Whatever comes my way.
Okay. So you didn't contact law enforcement, and you did that because you said you wanted to collect more evidence on Mr. Custode. Why did you pick the dealership and not his house? So I understand that correctly.
Okay. Well, one, he has a little boy. I would never go to a person's residence when they have a little boy there. Another time he had he lives with his dad, an elderly man. I don't want to give him a heart attack.
Okay.
There's just certain stuff. I didn't even have his address. I knew where he worked because I figured out his first name was Hector, and I did some research. I found his last name, and I knew he worked at a dealership. So I went on Google and I typed in Hector Custode dealership, Brandon, Mississippi, and I found his name on the website.
And I think I saw you state before, I'm sorry, that you felt safer going into the dealership. Is that correct?
I feel like it was safer for everybody. If you think about it. I mean, I know what I'm going. I know I'm going in there. I know I'm going to a closed office. If anybody's going to get hurt, it's going to be me, and I take those risks every time.
Okay. Well, if did you have any protocols that you had set up had Mr. Custode actually had a firearm? We live in Mississippi. Everybody's got a gun. Did you have any protocols that you alert law enforcement at that time in case he had maybe encountered a hostage situation or a mass shooting or something like that? Did you do anything like that?
I had no fear in my heart that would happen.
But there has been instances in the past with groups like yours where that's happened.
If it was a different person besides Hector, I definitely would have contacted law enforcement beforehand. But this was Hector Cousteau that we were talking about here, and I knew 100% the fact that everything was going to go exactly how it went.
How did you know that?
Because I've dealt with people like him. I've dealt with crackhead pedophiles. I've dealt with all sorts of pedophiles. I know their class. They all have different classes that they're in. And Hector fell under the weak, soft class.
And how long?
I knew as soon as I went in there, he would do what I asked. I knew that it would go exactly how it went.
Based on, and you've been saying you've been doing this less than a year, is that correct?
Yeah, since June of last year.
So you base it on the less than a year experience that he would not be violent. Is that, am I understanding that?
Yes, because I've been with some that are very violent.
So you have encountered situations where there is a violent situation.
Yes, I've had.
What happened there?
What happened? Just got violent. I mean,
what kind of violence? Is there a gun, knife, punching? What?
No. It's never any like weapons, but it's got physical for us. That's all I want to say.
And you've seen some situations, I'm sure, because you're into this, of groups like yours where there has been death and shootings and stuff like that, right? And you can Google them around the country. This has occurred.
Yeah, because they do it the irresponsible way. Like every time I do it, it's not going to be a meetup because I think that's dumb in my opinion. Even though I've done before, its element of surprise will catch anybody off guard. Like it'll catch you off guard. It'll catch me off guard.
Obviously, you knew you had enough that would enrage the public, and it did. And as a mom, I'm thankful that this was exposed because I feel like anyone near this dealership or bringing their children into this dealership deserve to know that this person is a predator. I mean, he is most definitely a predator. He was grooming and preying upon an underage girl.
No, absolutely. And I think that's important to understand. But what I'm asking is if you could have contacted law enforcement to set up some safety protocols. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I could have.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I disagree with you setting the guy up, but I'm talking about the safety of the people in the dealership and yourself is also, by the way, that law enforcement is trained for those things. And you said yourself that you've got to receive no training and you don't want to get any law enforcement training. That's fine. But I think that and now you're agreeing with me that it would have been better to contact them ahead of time. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you did take everything, all the evidence that you had to law enforcement after the fact, right? Have you heard from them?
I haven't. I've had a busy day. I'm going to give them a call in a little bit.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot that they have to go through and, and check out and.
It's definitely a lot. And then you got to think they got to go to the prosecuting attorney and they got to see if there is enough, which there's always enough, but they got to see if it's all there and it's all true, if that makes sense.
Hey, Bryce, like I said, again, I commend your portion of the chat and the setup and all that stuff. Do you think now the next time, though, like I said, you agreed with me, it'd be better to have contacted them? Do you think you'd do that in the future on future situations like this?
I mean, it just depends who it is, honestly. I'll try to go. Sometimes I get turned down immediately. They say they don't want to talk to them. They don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to. So that cancels out me even going to interview them. That's one. And then it cancels out a whole case because they don't even want to do it. So sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes I pick and choose when to call first.
Right.
Okay. Can you stay with us for one more segment? We got to take another commercial break, but I'd love it if you could stay with us for more. I want to talk about the dealership. I know there were some people who were upset, and then there was a statement they put out this morning, and I'd love to talk to you about that. Do you have enough time to stay with us one more segment?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay, great. All right. Y'all stay with us. We will be right back here on WIB 103.9.
.1039 WYAB.
When life throws challenges your way, you need a legal team you can trust. And Bain Bowen Attorneys at Law will fight for you. The Bain Bowen team brings over 60 years of combined experience to the table. From criminal law and DUI defense to wills and estate planning, real estate closings, divorce and family law, and even government relations, Bain Bowen is committed to serve you with excellence every time. Let the Bain Bowen team give you the relief you need from stressful, complex legal issues. Visit Bain Bowen Attorneys at Law at bainbowen.com.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty. Call us today for your free quote, 601-939-7420, or online at mypureairconsultants.com.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun flip or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
I'm Shaun Yurtkaran, and I've spent nearly 20 years in the courtroom. First as a prosecutor in Hinds County, now fighting for my clients as a defense attorney. I know how the system works, and I know how to protect your rights. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call me at 601-862-1320 or visit me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. Serious cases need serious defense. And remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Let's get to work.
CBS News special report. Around the world, people are paying tribute to Pope Francis, who died this morning at the age of 88. In Rome, the crowds gathered.
We feel very emotional, actually. We're just here for holiday, and we can't believe it's happened while we're here. You know, he was a lovely Pope. We're very sad about it.
The Pope's humble style and concern for the poor endeared him to many. Reporter Rich Lamb.
He refused the fanciest of papal garb, turned down the ermine cape and the red shoes, but wore brown shoes through his papacy.
The next pope is still to be decided. Fordham University's Father Thomas Massaro on what comes next.
They do have rounds of voting. It will take multiple rounds. You have to get 2/3 majority. And Pope Francis was elected on the 5th round back in 2013. So I expect multiple rounds of voting.
Pope Francis appeared last in public Sunday with an Easter blessing. CBS News special report. I'm Cammie McCoy.
You know what's a nightmare? We've all seen that movie where the bad guy's coming and your gun jams up. Luckily, that's just a movie, but you can't take the chance it could happen to you in real life. Hey, y'all, I'm Therese Apel from Dark Horse Press, and I've written stories about a whole lot of situations where people needed their gun to work for them. So if yours is moody or likes to jam, you need to take it to Guns and Gear. Let their professional gunsmiths look at it and fix it so it'll work when you need it. They're the absolute best at what they do, and that's why I buy all my guns from them. That's Guns and Gear in Gluckstadt. Check them out today.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
Tom's Fried Pies. And I made the mistake. I ordered one pie. I figured, you know what? I'll try Tex-Mex. It was so good. Man, second go round, I ate the pecan pie. You will need a meat pie and a dessert one. Get both because they are off the hook.
I went to Tom's Fried Pies today, and I'm going back. I tried the taco one. Really good. When I go back, I'll bring some home.
Tom'sFriedPies.com.
Are you hosting an event? Let Burgers Blues Barbecue handle the food while you enjoy the moment. From an important lunch to a dreamy wedding, B3 Catering is sure to please everyone. Find Burgers Blues Barbecue online and click the catering tab or just give us a call. And when you're dining out, visit Burgers Blues Barbecue in Flowood, Brandon, or Madison for incredible plates served fresh daily. Burgers Blues Barbecue and B3 Catering, a delicious combination.
How would you like like a new eyeglass frame for just $50. Bruce has an inventory conundrum and he needs your help. This will be to your benefit. You can get some sweet pricing on frontline frames that are simply out of warranty. These are men's, ladies, and kids frames, and they can be yours for just $50 from now till the end of April. These are great for spare pairs and sunglasses too. Come get yours while they last at iGear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at iGearOptical.com.
Come together right now.
Welcome back into Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. And we have a special guest with us, Bryce from Pred versus Prey. Bryce, you still with us?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Good. So, I'm going to say this. I don't care how or where you caught the guy. I'm just thankful that there is one less predator on the street. And I think a lot of parents feel that way. We don't care how they're exposed or where they're exposed. These sick pedophiles just need to be exposed so that people know not to have their children anywhere in the vicinity of someone like this. But I do know there were a lot of people who felt like the business, maybe the reputation of the business was tarnished. I think there were some Google reviews that it was like, oh, they had a pedophile working for them. How could they not have known that? And I never felt that way at all. I thought the reaction from the coworkers was completely normal. They were completely caught off guard. And how could the dealership have known what this man was doing in his private personal life? Have you had anyone any criticism like that towards you since this incident Friday?
Oh yeah, a lot of people, but I don't feel like the dealership is at fault in any way. I feel like their response and their reaction was valid. They didn't even know who I was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
At the end of the day, I don't think that they don't deserve any hate whatsoever. I hate that the people did the reviews. I don't want that to happen at all. I just wanted the community to know and the parents to know and all the mothers and the fathers and to everybody to know. I didn't want the business to get tarnished whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think you've tried to make that clear on your Facebook page, and they I was a little harsh on the business last night, and said why haven't they put out a statement? Why haven't they said anything? And I maybe should not have said that. It was Easter weekend, and they did have a statement out first thing this morning, and they fired him immediately upon seeing
30 minutes,
the videos.
within
30 minutes. So kudos to them for acting so quickly. And making sure that they not even that he can no longer even come on the premises of the business. So I think that's great that they immediately did that.
And we're not just talking about any business important. I'm a small business person, and I know tons of small business people. Very, very important. That's a bigger business, obviously. But Fowler GMC, I always call it Fowler Buick. If you've lived in Jackson for a long time, is a staple of the community here. Has been for I think 60 or 70 years. So I think it's important that people 72 years. There you go. People will understand that they are at no fault in this, and they should be commended for the response. And please don't hold it out against those people because they're good people over there.
I think they're going to get a lot of sales here soon. I really do. I think this was a big publicity that's going to help them out in the long run. Besides the reviews.
Yeah, I think their statement could not have been more perfect and spot on. And I think the way they handled it, they could not have handled it any better, in my opinion.
They did.
Have you talked with anyone from the dealership?
Ma'am?
Have you spoken with anyone from the dealership?
I have not. Just that statement they put out. That's all I've spoken to them about.
And you didn't speak with any. Did you speak with any customers while you were there? Did you talk to any customers about what was going on?
No, I told two employees. One that was at a desk with no customers there, and another one standing by a door that looked about my age. So I felt like I could tell him. Then I left.
Bryce, I do know this from some sources. Is there any way you could have turned off the camera and not put those employees on video? Is there any way you could have done that?
I could have blurred them out, but I don't have the software for that.
Don't you think, though, that involving putting their faces on a live stream video about a pedophile is a little unfair to them?
Yeah, I feel like I probably shouldn't have done that, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to not get them in there, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, well, again, I'm just thankful that this was exposed, and I feel like probably, even the dealership, regardless of the circumstances, I'm sure that they're grateful now to know that they had this type of employee working for them, and they were able to terminate his employment there, and so that's not a risk that they're taking anymore.
I mean, I think they're.
Because what
Go
if
ahead.
what if
Sorry.
Hector really would have snatched somebody's child up that came wandering by his office and did something to him? Because he obviously likes children. Like, what about that risk?
Yeah. Shaun, do you have something?
No, okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it is a dangerous situation, and I commend you for, wanting to take charge on this and having just the desire to get these people off the street. So, I mean, moving forward, do you think you'll change anything about the way you do this, or is this kind of like
every catch I learn something different that I should do better. I'm just going to keep improving, keep doing everything that's under the law, and I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm trying to make it good, like the best situation for everybody, because no situation is good, but I'm going to try to get better at what I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
that's Bryce, and that's my whole point. I think that your intentions are noble here, but I think you could coordinate with law enforcement a little bit better, because we never know when the Hectors is a crazy dude that kills himself or you or other people, customers in a dealership. I think those are situations that you might want to reform your tactics as to that. Would be my only dispute.
What do you think I should do?
I think you should actually I think you should contact law enforcement when it comes to the actual sting. I think that you could set them up like you're doing a good job of and hand it off to trained
What
professionals.
if they don't want to do anything about it?
Well, I don't know what to do in that aspect, but I think when you come to a
them so the world
situation,
knows there's a sexual
situation when there's possible violence, and which you've even stated has happened to you and has happened to other groups like yours, I think that law enforcement at that point needs to be involved. I think what you're doing initially is fine, but at the point when you're talking about a possible violent scenario, because you never know what's going to happen, I think you need to coordinate with them at that point.
So you think I should never do another interview ever?
Unless directed so by law enforcement. Yeah.
I disagree. I think if law enforcement's not going to do anything about it,
Never I've only had one law enforcement let me do my interview. The other ones say no, and I've handed them the case. What y'all don't know is I've had several of people that I've given them the cases, not did the video, just so they'll get arrested. I've had so many of them. If you look on my page, you go back just a little bit, you'll see tons and tons of them. So there's a lot of times where I just give them the case. But at the end of the day, I want to interview them as well, and nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to interview them. If I feel like it's a case where it's super, super bad, like a lot of them I had before, I will give them to the police and I'll let them do what they need to do. But the most of the time, I'm going to get my interview.
I think exposing them is important. I know Shaun and I disagree on this, but I think they need to be exposed and the world needs to see it. I have no sympathy at all for a child predator.
I'm not making a sympathy argument at all. I don't have sympathy for child predators, but I have sympathy for innocent people that could be killed.
Everybody has their own opinion, and I love everybody's opinion. I don't hate everybody. Everybody has their own opinion, and that's theirs to have. And my opinion is my opinion. Y'all's opinion is y'all's opinion.
So how many and you're actively, I'm sure, talking to people, to men and predators right now, correct?
Yeah, about 6 of them.
And do you just do this in certain states, or have you kind of just, I know it's completely random. It's whoever, starts up a conversation and then it goes from there. But do you focus on certain areas?
It's really wherever I have a decoy set out. I have decoy set out certain parts because, a lot of dating apps have locations on them, and some of them you can actually choose where to go. So, with Hector, I chose the Jackson area, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And I know you have one in Greenville, Mississippi as well.
I had one in Greenville, but that's only because it's by me. I live kind of by Greenville.
And they took him away in handcuffs, correct?
Yeah, he's going in handcuffs.
So I know you told me you've had one conviction and I guess 7 arrests overall, and those are, I guess, still in the stages of they haven't made it to to that conviction status yet?
Those are in 4 different states.
4 different states.
Like we've flown to get predators.
And is anyone working with you, or is this kind of a solo gig?
So right now it's solo. Like I have one other person that does it with me, but he hadn't done it in a while. So it's just me right now. And plus I think it's a lot. They can trust me and get a lot more comfortable with me if it's just me there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like if there's a lot of people, they won't tell me, they won't admit to me anything, they won't do none of that.
Yeah, and it's hard for them not to admit it when you've kind of got it right there in front of their face. But
yeah, but I try to be their friend during the interview, so they'll think they're so comfortable and they can admit anything they want to me, and nothing will happen. I'll just get them some help.
yeah, well, I feel like there's one less predator on the streets in the community today. So, I thank you for that, and I wish you well in all of your future endeavors in this work, and just thank you so much for taking the time to call in and talk to us today. Shaun, do you have anything else?
That's it.
Thank you so much, Bryce. We really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Y'all continue to have a successful radio show, and I appreciate y'all for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bryce.
All right. Yep. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, we are up against our last commercial break, but we will be right back here on WIAB 103.9. Crossing the aisle, stay with us, and we'll have some final thoughts.
.9 WYAB.
I'm John Horn, running for mayor of Jackson. I'm truly honored because on April 1st, 83% of you said you wanted change in your leadership. We won all 7 wards with a 2-to-1 majority. Jackson is ready for new leadership, but this is just the beginning. In the next few days, I'm focused on listening to all voters, attending community meetings, and showing my commitment to work with county, state, and federal leaders because rebuilding Jackson takes all of us. Let's finish strong. Vote John Horn for mayor, April 22nd.
Paid for by John Horn for mayor. If you volunteer in your community, you understand what it means to serve others. At Farm Bureau Insurance, our agents serve Mississippi by helping folks like you protect what's important, not just your prized possessions, but the happiness and well-being of your family. Farm Bureau Insurance is headquartered right here in Mississippi with local agents in your community.
Ask me, Robbie Gray, about Farm Bureau's auto, home, and life options. 601-879-3699.
Can't take your team out to lunch? Have lunch brought to your team with Mangia Bene Catering. You already know Mangia Bene. They're the masterminds behind Broad Street Bakery, Bravo Italian Restaurant, and Sal and Mookie's. And now Mangia Bene wants to feed your office of 10, 100, or even 1,000. Delicious box lunches, salads, sandwiches. We even do breakfast. Take your next lunch meeting up a level. Mangia Bene Catering. Call Mangia Bene to get started. 601-362-2900. That's 601-362-2900. When life throws challenges your way, you need a legal team you can trust. And Bain Bowen Attorneys at Law will fight for you. The Bain Bowen team brings over 60 years of combined experience to the table. From criminal law and DUI defense to wills and estate planning, real estate closings, divorce and family law, and even government relations, Bain Bowen is committed to serve you with excellence every time. Let the Bain Bowen team give you the relief you need from stressful, complex legal issues. Visit Bain Bowen Attorneys at Law at bainbowen.com.
Rotor's Plumbing of Pearl, your familiar plumber with the similar name. Locally owned and operated by Chris Rotor, Rotor's Plumbing is no franchise, simply lower prices and better service without the dreaded overpriced upsell. Rotor's is one of the few places you'll find that actually specialize in tankless water heater repair, as well as being your full-service plumber. And most importantly, service after the sale, meaning the techs actually answer your call, with misses averaging callbacks of 10 minutes or less. Rotor's Plumbing at ROEDERS plumbing.com.
Yazoo Valley Electric Power Association wants you to stay away from downed power lines. Downed power lines carry the risk of deadly electric shock, even if the broken wire is not sparking. If a wire is crossing a road or driveway, avoid the area and keep others away. If you see a downed power line, back away and call your utility company or 911. When you call, be prepared to provide the specific address or location of the downed power line so a repair crew can get there as quickly as possible. This safety message brought to you by Yazoo Valley Electric Power Association.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond. The weather is heating up and the deals are even hotter at Mazda of Jackson. Right now at Mazda of Jackson, you can drive home your dream Mazda with low financing rates available. 2.9% for 72 months on most models, or finance 36 months and pay just 0.9%. That's right, 0.9%. Experience Mazda's exhilarating performance, top-notch safety, and reliability. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Come together.
Welcome back into Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. So, of course, as usual, Shaun and I did disagree a little, but what we did agree on is that these sexual predators do need to be off the streets and do need to be caught, and that, Fowler GMC did a outstanding job in the way that they handled every bit of this from beginning to end.
Yeah, they did. And I think, I don't know if there's anybody that doesn't agree that sexual predators need to be off the streets. My problem is, though, with the way that this went down, Rob's reasons I stated to Mr. Sawyer was the fact that he had no law enforcement training and people could have been hurt. That scares me, obviously. I don't know. Now you've exposed him, which is good. That means that Mr. Custody is not going to be able to probably get one of these jobs, and that's a good thing there.
Hopefully he'll be behind bars.
If you recall, I asked him the questions about that. Did he, review the statute? And he says he thought he did. And the statute is you have to knowingly entice, induce, persuade, or seduce the child to meet up with you, right?
Well, it sounds like
if he's got that text that doing that, that's why I kept asking, is there something that lays that out? And this is my point to this. This is why professionals should really do this, is because they know what they're doing. They know how to track the statute. They know how to collect the correct evidence. That's my issue with it.
But Shaun, are enough professionals being paid in doing this? Because we still have so many sexual predators out there.
We're always going to have people committing more crimes. I mean, that's the thing, though. But like my question to you guys is, like, do we do that? And do we have them out there now, like hunting murderers and all that stuff? I guess we could, right? We could have all these groups. Then we go run into a whole vigilante justice system. And that's the scary part there. I mean, I don't know. It's like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like,
as a mom with 3 young girls, I want these predators off the street and exposed in any way, shape, or form possible. And that's just, that's my feeling. These are children.
But even if it means like people at the dealership could have got killed, I mean, that's the problem I have.
I understand what you're saying, and I see your point.
I mean,
but what if you go? What if you take all of that evidence to law enforcement? They refuse to do anything. You still need to expose this person. People need to know.
I think he could have handed this off to them, and they would have done something if it was as good as he says it is, or whatever he did. But I think his sting operation is ill-advised on the fact that he has no law enforcement training. And we don't know what somebody like Custody or some other sexual perp could do.
Well, we do know they're mentally ill.
Yeah, and they could go out and they could kill themselves, kill everybody in the dealership, kill women and children.
That would be a community improvement killing. I hate to say that, but
not if they killed women and children in the dealership.
Like no, that's not what I meant. I meant if he killed himself.
I mean, if he wants to go all, Clint Eastwood on this stuff, I think he could go to the guy's house.
I got 5 seconds, Shaun.
All right. Anyway, check us out, and we hope you enjoyed the show.
We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace out.